Joshua chapter 6, the conquest of Jericho. Now Jericho, a fortified city with high walls, was tightly closed because of the people's fear of the sons of Israel. No one went in or came in. The Lord said to Joshua, "See, I have given Jericho into your hands, with its king and the mighty warriors. Now you shall march around the city, all the men of war, circling the city once. You shall do this once each day for 6 days. Also, 7 priests shall carry 7 trumpets made of ram's horns ahead of the ark. Then on the 7th day you shall march around the city 7 times, and the priests shall blow the trumpets. When they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the trumpets, all the people shall cry out with a great shout, a battle cry, and the wall of the city will fall down in its place, and the people shall go up, each man going straight into the climbing over the rubble." So Joshua the son of Nun called for all the priests and said to them, "Take up the ark of the covenant," and 7 priests carry 7 trumpets made of ram's horns ahead of the ark of the Lord. He said to the people, "Go forward, march around the city, and let the armed men go ahead of the ark of the Lord." And it was so that when Joshua had spoken to the people, the 7 priests carrying the 7 trumpets made of ram's horns went on before the Lord, and they blew the trumpets, and the ark of the covenant of the Lord went behind them. The armed men went in front of the priests who blew the trumpets, and the rear guard came after the ark, while the priests continued to blow the trumpets. But Joshua commanded the people, "You shall not shout the battle cry, nor let your voice be heard nor let a word come out of your mouth until the day I tell you to shout. Then you shall shout." So you had to be quiet. You had to do the Lord's work without shouting to have that. I think of we're reading, and we read a lot in the Old Testament. It's very specific, right? Like, build the ark this way, do this, be, half a mile away from the Ark of the Covenant, wait until this, walk around 7 times, do this, do that. And we're like, God is a very set of order thing. But I think even now, what are things God commands us to do? Is God ordered now? Now, he's the same, right? Yesterday and today. What does he tell you now? He tells you not to worry. What do? Do you worry? I worry. So yeah, number 1, falter. Okay, we meditate on God's word day and night like we're supposed to? I'll falter and say that I don't every day. I that's my goal, but there's a day that I won't. I can definitely feel when I don't. Falter. So boom, I failed again. Do you know what I mean? Do you ever? I think of just those simple things, and we think, wow, he was so set back then. Maybe they didn't deal with depression and anxiety like we do. Maybe they didn't worry about things. I don't know. Maybe more the New Testament was more of our culture and where we are. Where the Old Testament, they needed to be told how to build their house, how to do this. Where now he knows man's going to just figure it out. It's interesting. It makes me think, all right, how specific is God if we just follow those commands? Yeah, I'm just like the Israelites. Are you just like the Israelites? I am just like them too. We look at them and we're like, wow, how do they just disobey God like that? Surely Eve, I would never do what you do. Yeah, I would never forget how great God was. How many times do I forget how great God is? I don't even want to admit that, but yeah, I do. There are times when I doubt God's goodness. And it's wrong. It's very wrong. And I worry, and I think God's not going to provide, and I think God's not going to stand in his word. I do the same thing like myself. So that's where the beautiful picture of Jesus coming into picture, and the grace that he gives us to forgive over and over, where a blood sacrifice in the Old Testament was to forgive them. That makes me think a whole lot. Okay, so now that's interesting. Okay, so let's keep going. So Joshua had the ark of the Lord taken around the city on the first day, circling it once. They came back into the camp and spent the night in the camp. Then Joshua got up early in the morning on the second day, and the priests took up the ark of the Lord. The 7 priests carrying the 7 trumpets made of ram's horns ahead of the ark of the Lord went on continually, blowing their trumpets, and the armed men went ahead of them, and the rear guard came up after the ark, while the priests continued to blow the trumpets. The second day they marched around the city once and returned to the camp. They did this for 6 days. Then on the 7th day they got up early at daybreak and marched around that city the same way 7 times. Only on that day they marched around the city 7 times. And the 7th time, when the priests had blown the trumpets, Joshua said to the people, "Shout, for the Lord has given you this city." Let's keep going. "The city and everything that is in it shall be under the ban that is designated to be destroyed as a form of tribute to the Lord. Only Rahab, the prostitute, and all the people who are with her in her house shall be allowed to live, because she hid and protected the messengers whom we sent. But as for you, keep yourselves away from the things under the ban, which are to be destroyed, so that you will not covet them. And take some of the things under the ban for personal gain, and put the camp of Israel under the ban, doomed to destruction, and bring disaster upon it." I got some words to say in a minute. "All the silver and golden articles of bronze and iron are holy, consecrated to the Lord. They shall go into the treasury of the Lord. So the people shouted the battle cry. The priests blew the trumpets. When the people heard the sounds of the trumpets, they raised a great shout, and the walls of Jericho fell down. So the sons of Israel went up into the city, every man straight ahead, climbing over the rubble, and they overthrew that city. Then they utterly destroyed everything that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, ox, sheep, and donkey, with the edge of the sword. But Joshua said to the 2 men who had spied out the land, "Go into the prostitute's house and bring out the woman and all that she has out there, just as you've sworn to her." So the young men and the spies went in and brought out Rahab and her father and her mother and her brothers and everything that she had. They also brought all her relatives and allowed them to stay outside the camp of Israel. Then because that was during the time of cleansing. Then they completely burned the city and everything that was in it. They put only the silver and gold and the articles of bronze and of iron into the treasury of the house of the Lord. So Joshua spared Rahab the prostitute with her father's household, everything that she had. And she has lived among the Israelites to this day because she hid the messengers whom Joshua sent out to spy out Jericho. Okay, so real fast, this part, Rahab, she helped them. She lied for one, but she helped them. And God's including her entire family, like her entire family, to be saved and protected. So how much can you, mama, be for your entire family? Like, yes, people have the choice not to follow the Lord, and we all have our own free will to do it. If people are going to deny God and deny his existence, they very well get that choice to do that. But how great for you to be the prayer warrior, to be the mighty warrior who follows the Lord and brings in their whole family, brothers and sisters, cousins, whole families. You're that woman. You're that woman. Then Joshua made them take an oath at the time, saying, "Cursed before the Lord is the man who rises up and rebuilds the city. Jericho, with the loss of his firstborn, he shall lay its foundation, and with the loss of his youngest son, he shall set up its gates." So the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame was in all the land. Okay, so I'm going to read all the little extra because I feel like that's helpful. Crossing the Jordan marked the beginning step in the fulfillment of God's promise to give his people the land of Canaan. Immediately, the task of conquering Jericho loomed before them. The Lord appeared to Joshua, reminding him that the God himself was in charge and the presence of the Holy One assured victory. So it loomed before them. Do you wake up in the day and think what you have to conquer that day? Conquer, I'm going to say that lightly. Do you wake up during the day and dread you got to have money for something? There's a bill that's got to be paid. I got to get up and face this medical issue today. I got to get up and face this person at work today. I got to get up and face my family who are heathens in a nice way today. I got to get up and face the devastation in my life, my life loss that I have in my life. I got to face that every day. Okay, they're looking over that, right? But they're doing what? They were being obedient. They were meditating on God's word day and night. They were sticking with that. They were doing what God said. We got to do what God says, okay? Yeah, you're going to get up and dread doing things. It says they're going to dread it too. But we're going to be reminded that if we get in God's word and read, if our hearts are lined up with him, we're going to be able to get up every single day. We're going to be able to get up every single day and face whatever we got, no matter what, because days are hard. Life is not joyful and rosy all the time. I get it. I understand. It's not perfect. But to get up with that zeal, and that's that next part, says the plan for Jericho's capture was a test of Israel's zeal for the Lord. It's a test and seems to have been designed to instill the lesson that submission to God's directives was key to victory. That's the key, the submission to God's directive. What is God's directive for your life? What is it for my life? Does he want us to read his word every day? Or does he want us to scroll on our phone every day? We could probably scroll on our phone every day, but do we read God's word every day? Do we do what he says? I know there's a lot more verses, but the casting the cares, the worrying about food, the worrying about clothes. God tells you to do something, do we do it? Right there. I like it. That's God's directives for key to victory in our lives. I love that. How different Israel's history would have been if they had continued to carry out God's plan fully and zealously. Yeah. God calls us to the same level of obedience today. Yeah, that's true. It says, Joshua's curse found dramatic fulfillment many centuries later when Bethel laid its foundation and rebuilt its gates at great personal cost. When they talked about he was cursing that. So, all right, that's you know what? I'm enjoying this. Are you enjoying this? I am enjoying this. I know this Old Testament's not, the last few, I feel like, okay, hum and drum. I know years ago when we read through the Bible, I was like, I just had no idea. The internet wasn't, it was big, but it wasn't like a lot of extra knowledge and and I was younger, and even 2 years ago, 3 years ago, how long it's been, 4 years ago, I was a lot younger and not knowing stuff. And I'm not even an expert, zero. I'm a woman just like you guys are, but I have a willing heart to want to know God more. I want to know God like so close. And God says we can. We don't have to be like people that go to college that study God's word. We don't have to be, and God says it is for everybody. We are everybody in this earth. So reading this, getting knowledge, I want to figure this thing out. Do you? I want to figure this life out. Do you? I do. Because it's dark, it's depressing, it's miserable, it's hard, people. It's not fun. It's not fun. But I don't want to be the woe is me. I want to be the person that is obedient to God, what he tells me to do, and walk in God's directives and just go, look at what he laid out for. I want him to part the waters and just let us to walk through on that dry land and just be blessed. I sure do. All right, this is exciting. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Bye.